It's Katie. How's it going, girl?
Hey,
How have you
it's
been?
going great. How are
Yeah,
you,
I'm
sir?
doing really, really good. Thank you for listening at Parable Podcast today.
Oh, absolutely.
And how does it feel to be semi-retired, girl?
Oh, oh man, it's amazing. I will tell you that.
Really? What you been up to? What's going on in your life, please?
Oh man, so much is going on. But yeah, I've been trying to enjoy life. I'm getting ready to take this crazy epic adventure for my soul, pretty much.
That is amazing. That is amazing. And what is new adventure gonna take you to? Like, what's the plan? What's going on?
Yeah. So I decided I'm leaving, corporate America and I am going to go travel South America
All right.
for 6 months. And literally, it's a journey of self discovery, love, adventure, but really getting back to me and really finding out who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what made you wanna take this make this change in life, which is it is a bit of a drastic change, right? Because
Yeah.
everybody's scared of making such a huge change in life. I mean, I that's something that I would have loved to be able to do in my life, to just be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm out, right?
Exactly.
And I'm sure that's how a lot of people might feel too.
Yeah.
But there's bills that you need to pay, and there's all
Yeah.
these other things that you have to make sure they're taken care of before you embark in an amazing adventure like you're doing right now. So, like, what triggered it, or what made it be like, I'm doing this?
Yeah,
You know?
it's a good question. I think for probably the last 5 years, I just haven't really been happy, if I'm honest. And, COVID and all this stuff, and then being in a past relationship before, thinking I was going to move to another country, get married, all that, it didn't happen, right? And you get to a point of you're like, what am I doing with my life? And I got a new job like a year and a half ago, thinking that was going to solve my problems, and it didn't. So it came to a point where I was like, enough is enough. I'm tired of feeling sad. I'm tired of not being happy, and I've got to do something about it. And the trigger really was right before Thanksgiving. My poor little doggy passed away, and he was my everything, right?
Mm,
And it's like he was like, "Mommy, go be free." And even before he passed, because he was suffering with a tumor, and I mean, that's just a heartbreak in itself.
mm,
Um, but before he passed, I was like, geez, when Jax is gone, I feel like I want to take a 6 month sabbatical. I just need to go clear my head. I need a reset. I need to go find out really who I am and what I want in this life. Because if you're just going through the emotions of life and you're not happy, then something's off. Like, I didn't feel like things were, I don't know, it was like an uphill battle a lot. And I
mm.
have a lot of joy and happiness to spread, but if I'm not feeling it inside, then how can I ever give that back, right?
Right.
So this kind of started like the thought process. I wasn't happy in my career. Not that there was anything wrong with the company or my team. It just was like something inside. And my boss kind of knew it, and she honestly, her and I had a conversation, and she's been working with me, and I've been transitioning out of this career, and it's been amazing. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to do this. I need to take some time off. I don't want to go get another job right now. So let's really do this. Let's travel. I want to challenge myself and go. So pretty much right after like Thanksgiving, I went and got my passport like renewed, and I even paid for the expedited price because I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm gonna want to leave in a month, you know.
Right, right, right.
Uh, but yeah, I got the passport. The holidays came around, and I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna start. So I do have a condo. I have bills. I have all that stuff too. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna look into ways of renting out my condo. So I listed it on like a site called Furnish Finder for traveling professionals, Facebook Marketplace, all this. And because that's a huge financial burden, right?
Absolutely,
To
yes,
leave.
yes.
Um, so that was stressful in itself, but I'm like, I'm just gonna start moving and making steps towards what I want. And I am a very like spiritual
Mm-hmm.
person. I have
Mm-hmm.
a strong faith. And I believe when you have inspired action, God, the universe will reward you, right? Like things start to fall into place. And
Yeah.
once I put my trust in that, really things started to fall in place. And I mean, for the last few years, I've had this nudge towards Argentina, and I don't really know why, but it's literally been a nudge. And probably for the like 4 years before that, I've had this vision of kind of like holistic healing and like life coaching and helping people heal through whatever inspires them. Say like even art or dance or yoga or breath work or anything like that, or just like the beach therapy, talking through things. And it's like you're always afraid to take that step, right? So like I'm here to like clear my head, reset, and really like find myself, but see how I can then give back to others along this journey and
Right.
eventually help them. Because it really got to the point where I just felt so stuck, like
Yeah.
stuck.
Yeah.
And when you're feeling like that, and I'm 41, and you're just like, what am I doing with my life? And I always thought it was going to be something else, and it's not. But what I'm learning is I'm embracing that. I'm embracing my freedom. And this is the one window in my life to actually take advantage of it. And I'm taking advantage of it. So, yeah, there's no dog, there's no boyfriend, there's no husband, there's no kids. I'm free.
You're
And
free.
okay, well, why not? Even people are like, why South America? And I'm like, why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so my heart's taking me there. And really, I have like a week in Colombia, and then it's Argentina. And all I have booked is 10 days at an Airbnb in Buenos Aires. And my saying, the friends who know me say, I'm going to see where the energy takes me and literally just be open
Yeah.
and document my journey along the way and kind of my lessons that I've learned and where I'm going, how I'm feeling inside, and, just embrace this freedom.
Yeah. It's so interesting when last time I saw you, well, not last time, but the time before that, that's when you kind of mentioned what you wanted to do with your life. And I found that extremely interesting, right? Because, like I mentioned earlier, there are so many people that would love to do that, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, like I known you. How long have I known you for? I think it was like pre-COVID, I believe. When I say maybe
Well,
like,
I mean, I feel like
I think
it's
it
been
was like,
over 10 years, I
that's
think.
really,
I think from just Fleming's, like,
yeah,
happy
yeah.
hour
Well,
and stuff.
definitely pre-COVID.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
definitely
know,
pre-COVID.
but just within like the last month or so that you started coming back, and we talked, and you mentioned about this, and then I was like, you know what, this is something that people need to hear, and
Yeah.
it's like I say, it's something that a lot of people would love to do, but they are not able to. But you have the freedom, right? You have the freedom of
Yeah.
not, you know, by whatever the universe or God, like not having kids and not being married, but it's you're able to explore
Yeah.
and to really discover
Yeah.
a completely different phase in your life, right?
Yeah.
And this is a phase that a lot of, like I say, a lot of people would love to do,
Right.
but they tie down because of the family or
Yeah.
this or that, whatever the reason is. But in your case, when you told me that, I really admired it, and
Thank
I
you.
thought I was extremely ballsy,
Thank you.
and to just go get up and take care of whatever it is that you need to take care of, and then take the next step, which is go to South America, which a lot of people would, when they talking about healing and the spiritual life and all those things, they decide to go to like Asia, right? Like
Right.
Bali or
Mhm.
I don't know, Malaysia or whatever they do go. But in this case, you want to go to Argentina,
Mhm.
and I do find it very, very interesting, right?
Yeah.
Um, because it's a place that is going to it's a very interesting country. It's a beautiful country for what I have heard.
Yeah.
I have met a lot of people from Argentina, and they're really great people, but do you remember why Argentina, or was it just something that just came to your head? I want to go to Argentina.
Well,
Why not
it's
Colombia, or why not
right.
Venezuela or Brazil? You know what I mean? Just
Right.
Argentina.
Well, like I said, there's been a nudge for like 2 years, and I don't know what the nudge is, but I believe it's because I want to engulf myself in the culture Um, I I know they have amazing food. They have a culture rich in dance, and I love to dance. And the country alone has the city of the culture I want to explore, and then it has the beautiful like countryside, right? And like down south Patagonia, do some hiking and nature and really engulf myself in there. And then Mendoza, wine country.
Yes.
Love wine, of course. And I don't know, I'm drawn because those are three things that I love. And honest, like it's what makes me feel alive. So even in Buenos Aires where I'm starting, I have the intention to really learn the tango because that's their thing. And even recently I've been dancing a lot. Like I've been dancing and I've been finding joy, and it's so amazing because I'm like, why haven't I been like living like this prior to making this decision, And so yeah, I really want to engulf myself in the culture and the people and the language. I plan to come back speaking Spanish, hopefully, at least more than I do now.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And then like,
So,
just
so
being in
that means then the next podcast when you come back is gonna be in
in
Spanish.
español, sí.
Okay, you got it. Done. Done. You heard
Maybe
it
un
here.
poquito, yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm literally going to see where the energy takes me. I kind of want to live like a local there. And, I don't really care about doing the tourist things or checking things off the list. I really am there to like heal, find myself, and find joy, really. Like find the love within and then be able to spread it to others.
Yeah.
So the plan is to just not really have a plan and but really get to the areas that I want to see too, but be open to opportunities. If something comes up, it's kind of like a why not,
Yeah.
and go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean it's pretty amazing. Like I look back to even the last couple months and I think, wow, like I've accomplished so much because it's just getting ready for this trip. Like decluttering and getting stuff out of my condo has been like the most freeing thing ever. And it's crazy. It's kind of like life. It's like we hold on to things and you start to wonder like, why have I held on to this? Like it's not serving me or it's forgotten about, but I'm like, I'm still holding on to it. And like literally decluttering and tossing things it's been life changing
It's been,
actually.
like very liberating, right?
And liberating. And it's like free, And I'm a pretty tidy person, but once you start cleaning out the garage, you start opening, cabinets and you're like, why? Why have I held on to this? And just, it's the most freeing thing. And I believe like within the last couple weeks, I've been learning, maybe the last like month, I've been really learning to let go. And it's amazing. And I've been tested. There's a few things that I've kind of like
I was
lost.
just about to ask you, like, has there been a part during that process that you have felt like it's been hard
Yeah.
to say, oh, I don't know if I can let go of this or not knowing how to deal with it. Do you know what I mean? Has there been a time? Has there been a situation like that where you have felt like, oof,
Well,
it's been rough. I don't know if I can.
I think it's just overwhelming because it's like such a huge project and think like with everything of like what we hold on to. But I believe like my lesson that I've learned with letting go is like even while I was cleaning out the garage, I literally like I could not find my keys. Like I could not find my keys. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is wild. Like I've been here the whole time and I cannot find them. And when I finally learned to just like let it go, and I was like, well, whatever, at least I have another, I have another pair I'll just use. And I was on the phone with my sister. And this is really crazy because I literally let it go that I lost the keys. That sucks, but whatever, move on.
Mm.
I was talking to my sister and we were kind of like, like we were praying to my dog, like my Jax, like, can you please help mommy find her keys? Like, like this is so crazy. And I was like asking, the angels for help, if you will. And literally there was like this shoebox with stuff in my last box to kind of like sort with business stuff. And I moved this like just envelope and there's my keys in this shoebox. I'm like, how did that even happen? But I swear it was instantaneously after I let it go. I realized I lost it. And then we did a little prayer and literally there's the keys. I mean, stuff like that has been happening. It's so crazy. But it's like when I'm surrendering and letting it go, like things are aligning. And a lot of, I get like a lot of spiritual guidance when I'm like in nature and I also like journal. But one of the things that I've learned is, Katie, why are you making this battle harder? Like, why are you trying to create obstacles that don't need to be there? It's kind of like stay on the path. So I'm learning a lot to listen and pay attention.
In what sense do you mean by obstacles that you
Like,
created your own
even I was
obstacles?
hiking, right? And for my birthday, like in December.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that.
And literally, I'm like, I somehow got off the track and it was like the Devil's Edge or something in Idlewild by myself, which is kind of crazy because doing it, I was like, wow, this is kind of dangerous. But in the beginning, I think I got off the track and I was almost about to give up and I was like a little frustrated. And then somehow I got back on. But like the symbolism I took about it was like the path was right there the whole time. It was like, I like went another way and I made it more difficult for myself. And this happened a few times. So I'm taking these like lessons I'm learning and it's kind of applying it to life. It's like, stop making like resistance when there doesn't need to be any.
Do you feel like that's how you've been all of your life, and up until now that you're making these changes and you're allowing yourself to surrender, that you probably are able to see it more?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I do feel like pretty much my whole life, like I've done everything, quote unquote, what society expects you to do, right? You go to school, you go to college, you get a good job. I've had a good job, but I don't think I've ever felt happy or joyful inside. And it's always been sales and I'm decent and good at it. I guess I've gotten to the point where I'm at, but it never fulfilled me, right? And so why am I trying to force myself into something that really isn't my heart's desire? And just with everything. And I'm like, I'm tired of quote unquote, like doing the smart thing. Like I want to go live and I want to really find out who I am to really follow my purpose. So it's kind of like something clicked of like, what am I doing? I keep doing the same thing and it's obviously not working, right? Isn't that the definition of insanity?
Insanity, right?
And it's like, okay, something needs to give. And even within the last few years, I was like, I just can't be in the same spot that I am. And I pretty much was. And I'm like, enough is enough. Things need to change. And I had thoughts of like moving to another city or doing that. But it's like, okay, no, like something bigger. I need just like a reset, and I need to look at life differently. And literally once I've decided that, even just within the last couple weeks, I have let go. I've surrendered and things are easy. Like I'm flowing in the stream as opposed to like trying to swim up it, right?
Right.
And
Right.
it's the power of, I believe, like letting go when you really start to be free. And this could be so many things. Like literally it started with me decluttering my garage, right? And my condo. But then it becomes more mentally, right? Like letting
Yes.
go of things that don't
Yes.
serve you.
Yes.
And even what I'm noticing these last few weeks and maybe a month, I'm like attracting more positive people in my life who are inspiring me and encouraging me. And it's interesting how some of the negativity is now like just being washed away because I'm in a totally different mindset. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're not paying as much attention to that negativity side, because I don't know, but I feel like, they're both obviously, they both exist, right? They are both there with you.
Right.
What I think is like what we choose to pay attention to, right?
Yeah, it's like that parable of the wolves, right?
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah, yeah.
evil one, the good one,
Yeah.
who like which one thrives? It's
Yeah.
well, the one you feed, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And so, okay, if you want to feel love, then you've got to give love, right? And look at things from a love point as opposed from a negative point.
Yes.
And I think that's the huge difference, because when you open your mind and your heart, it's amazing what you can attract and bring in. And this is just the start of my journey before I've even left. And now, even last night, I was out. I went to Sevilla and I was practicing some bachata and salsa. And oh my God, so much fun. But literally, like, I was talking to some friends there. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this. I actually feel so alive right now. And I'm living and I'm finding the joy. And I'm like, how ironic is this? It's like literally I'm leaving in a week to go find this. And I'm finding it like right now where I live.
Yeah.
So it's that whole thing of like, you know, I'm not running from my problems. I'm going to find myself. But it's wild because going to a new place isn't going to change you. You have to change from within.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like this lesson I've learned because I've always loved to travel. And I think some people travel to escape, but really I'm traveling to like find myself.
To rediscover.
Yeah. And it's so interesting though, but it's more now I'm learning it's a mindset of you let go and you choose joy. And it's amazing how life will kind of work out for you. And it's like putting yourself in scenarios with like-minded people, and you're just going to attract them. I mean, even how we're sitting here right now, like, is amazing. And I believe this started like way before COVID when I did teacher training, remember?
Yeah,
and we started bonding at the bar because we both did it, right? And it was like similar mindset is like, wow, I find it so interesting that like once you start opening yourself up and talking to people, you will connect with people who maybe you would have never thought you'd connect with before. But to me, it's like energy, and it is amazing when you just like open yourself up. And it doesn't matter. Yeah. And it doesn't matter if it's like a new friendship, like, cause you could look at friendships you've had for years and you don't feel the same. And then you could meet new friends and you're like, whoa, they're on my like wavelength. I still love my old friends, but there's something different. Like they understand me. They're inspiring me. They're encouraging me. Like, and that's who I want to be surrounding myself with, right?
Absolutely. I completely agree with you 100% on that, what you just mentioned right now about the whole friendship situation.
Yeah.
Because like you say, you know, we have friends that have been with us for 20, 30 years, right?
Exactly.
But something happens where we make a change. In this case, I'm talking us because, you know, we have talked earlier about my life and your life, and this part of your life, it's extremely interesting. And that's why I wanted to have you here, because we're going to be doing a podcast right now that we're doing, obviously, and one when you come back, because I'm really interested to see, you know, how much you have grown and what you have learned, and, you know, and what you have experienced, you know, in this trip. And but going back to the friends situation is that we grow and they don't, right?
I know.
It's kind of sad because you have experienced life with these people for 10, 15, maybe 20 years. And all of a sudden, you guys, we don't connect anymore.
It doesn't feel
like, it feels comfortable because obviously you've known them for a long time. The history and the memories, but it's not helping you to move forward.
Correct.
They are not giving you anything. They are not stimulating you to move forward, to see what's going to happen next, because they, in whatever the reason is, maybe it's not their turn. They haven't gotten there yet. Whatever it is, but it's when we are at that level, when we have evolved in that sense, it's like, in my case, for example, you know, there's some people in my life that I've known for 27 years, and I've been like, I'm out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm out because I'm not seeing anything. It's not positive right now. It's
right.
You know, you're not giving me anything.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. And we have to protect our energy.
You have to.
Right? And we shouldn't feel obligated to hold on to things just because of the amount of years. But if we connect with someone who's even a new friend of a couple months and they're giving us what we need and we're aligned, and it's like, who's to say they can't become a best friend?
Absolutely. You know? Absolutely. I completely 100% on that. And you happen to be a Sagittarius, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, well, I am a Sagittarius as well. And we talked about that.
Yes.
But it's, you know, we just like to, you know,
be free.
Be free.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I don't know if it's hindering us or helping us
It's pros and
fly.
cons,
But
obviously.
yeah, I don't know. I have a fear of being like on a leash and in a cage. And that's probably something, we could go deeper into like a psychology aspect, but like it is weird. Like I want to be a free bird. And even it's so funny, people are really kind of being attracted to me right now. And I'm like, I'm leaving in a week. Like I want to be a free bird. Like I don't want to feel tied down in any sense. But then I'm like, okay, like when am I going to be able to actually be open to that? But I think they have to be on the same wavelength and it won't feel like I'm being tied down.
Absolutely 100% of that. Absolutely 100%.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's, when you are with people that you're not in the same wavelength. In, for example, my prior relationship, there was this girl that I was dating, and I literally felt like I was in a cage.
Oh, geez.
And she was very, very, what's the word that I'm looking for? She wanted to keep me here, right?
Possessive.
That's the word.
Yeah.
Very possessive. Possessive in that sense. I mean, insecure, I guess, but I mean, and I just couldn't deal with it. It's just like, that's something that's not me. I mean, once, like you mentioned, it's like I'm free. Like I don't want to be, like I have to be with you every single day of my life.
Right.
It's not natural in my case.
Yeah.
And it seems that it's not the same. It's the same on yours, right?
Well, I mean, I have this thing. It's like, well, when I love very deeply.
Right,
And I've
right,
had
right,
some,
absolutely.
Relationships that I have definitely felt that. But I think the best way, at least for me, it's like, it's treat us like a wild horse, right? So wild horses, you let them be free, but they always come back, right?
Yeah.
So if there's any sense of insecurity or jealousy, like that does not work. It's like, go allow us to be free. Allow me to go dance with other guys and be okay with it because you know that I'm coming back to you,
Yes.
So that's
true.
it's like, appreciate me for all of me, but like, don't try to cage me or this is never going to work because it will feel like the trap feeling, right? And then I think we maybe get a little, I don't know, jaded because we think every relationship's going to be like that. So I guess that's my fear. I don't want to feel like that. I want to keep an open heart. But I also have to believe that, like, okay, this energy I'm portraying now is going to attract what's actually best for me.
Yes.
Where in the past, maybe it was insecurities or not feeling good enough or things, and you attract what you are, right? And it's like, enough is enough. I'm ready for a total freedom, but I'm ready for love too.
Yes.
When it's meant to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like that. Isn't that you're doing like that book and movie, right?
Yeah,
Eat, Pray, Love.
Yeah,
right?
it's my
totally
version of Eat, Pray, Love, 100%. I have no expectations. I'm going to just be open and free, and I want to really live my life.
That is all you can do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that is all you can do because it's going to a completely different country, a very different language. I mean, even though you have a little bit of an understanding of it, that helps a lot, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's going to a completely foreign. I mean, even even me, if I was to go to Mexico right now, I would be still kind of like, like, what's going on here, right?
They might look at you as a gringo.
Absolutely.
This guy's trying to fit in. Who does he think he is?
Right? It's like, what is this? This is like white skin trying to do.
Yeah.
That is but now you also mentioned something that with your work and working corporate in corporate America and stuff like that, and you said something that you always try to do the right thing. The right thing, right?
Quote, unquote, yeah.
Like the norm, right?
Be responsible,
right?
The smart thing,
yes, all those things. But do you remember feeling the way you're feeling right now with wanting to experience and do different things at an earlier stage of your life that you probably didn't that you kind of ignore maybe.
Oh, yeah.
So you
Yeah.
had this
Yeah, that was
this
probably
feeling.
at least 4 years ago. Even I was like, had this whole vision of creating this holistic like health center.
But I mean, like in your teens, when you were like, you know what I
Oh,
mean? When you were like in your teens, when you were in high school, when you were, maybe in college, around, I'm talking about
yeah.
going back
Well, you
that.
know what? Okay, if we're going to go back that
Of
far,
course.
it's wild because, okay, so in high
And
school,
I'm sorry, really quick. And the only reason why I ask these questions is, because in my case, I feel that all of my life I have always been given signs,
yes.
and whether you choose to ignore it or not. But I do remember always feeling a certain way all of my life.
Right. Like it's like it wasn't fitting into what you
Yes,
wanted.
yes. Just for example, with people, with friends, even with society, you felt like you didn't belong, right?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like the right, like, really, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Is this it?
Yeah.
Like with the whole, I don't have any kids, and I never got married. So I I'm okay with it. Like I not always, but it was obviously because I come from a very conservative Mexican family, where a religious family, where you have to be married, you have to have kids, you have to be all of these things. And finally, when I realized that was not going to be happening, obviously it was a shock for my family,
Yeah.
but I was very, very in peace with myself.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like I was
Yeah.
like, I'm fine. I'm totally okay. Like I kind of, like, in the back of my head, I kind of knew,
But when did you finally feel peace?
right when I think I was like 34, 35.
Okay. I feel like I'm now finally just finding peace. And I think that's what's been missing. It's because you're trying to do something that doesn't feel right. I literally always thought I'd have a family and kids. And maybe I still will one day. I'm open
Right,
to it. But I'm
right.
also to a point of accepting like I'm okay if I don't. Um, but I think before it was like mourning the life you thought you were
We're going to
supposed to
have, yeah.
have. And then it's almost like getting over that and accepting where you're at, but making the changes to actually create the life that you desire and that you do want. So it wasn't literally until my little Jax, he's like, Mommy, go be free. And literally, because I would have never left him, right? And I feel fortunate because, yeah, like I'm not tied down, but I have, bills and condos, but I'm figuring it out. Everything is figure outable. I don't think that's a word, but
It is now.
someone taught me that. And it's true. Like it's very hard to like know, but if you want something bad enough, you just have to find a way and you make it happen, right? So yeah, if we're going to go back, like, in high school, I wrote my college admission essay about wanting to be a sports psychologist.
Shut the front door. So I started with wanting to be a sports psychologist, and then I kind of like wanted to do
No way.
child development.
Oh, wow.
But that was one of the things that I'm like, oh, I could have loved to be a sports psychologist.
Yeah, so
I love psychology, philosophy, psychology, all that shit.
Oh,
is like
100.
my thing.
So when you're saying like, okay, so I did that with the intention because I played sports my whole life and I understand like the big mental aspects of it, because it's kind of like in life too, when you're not mentally there, like it's wild. Like I played softball and like you'd throw a ball like wildly because my mind wasn't there, right? And it's just there's so much mental aspect with it. So I had passion towards it, right? Then I get to college and like my first psychology class, I got a C. And I was not a C student. I was like mostly A's, maybe B pluses.
Right.
And I felt very like discouraged and I gave up on it.
Really? Because of one class?
Yeah. Like that just shows you like, oh, I'm not good enough for this. So then I get the communications major with a PR emphasis, but then PR, I was like, well, I don't want to be behind the scenes. So then I fell into sales just because I am good with people, but like, and I never wanted to sit in a queue, but I don't think it ever really was my calling. So basically my whole career hasn't felt right. And
So you kind of like went the safe way.
well, I
In
guess
a
now
sense.
looking at it, but then again, look, everything that I've worked for, I now have the freedom to go travel because I quote unquote been responsible or smart. But I guess I'm tired of being smart or responsible and I want to go follow my passion and my purpose. And like this whole trip is going to bring out a creative side, I believe, to what I really want and do and what's going to make me shine and what's going to bring that light out that I can help impact others to do the same. Right. So it's crazy because I fit myself into a role. Like I'm very good at it. Like I had an old boss say, Katie, you're very persuasive and you can persuade anyone to do anything. So if I want something, I typically can get it. But do I really, really want it? Or is that just what I think I want or what society thinks I want? And then or because it's the smart thing to do, or it's based on like, oh, what it can bring me, like financial freedom and stuff like that. But it's like, if that's not going to bring me joy within, then what's the point? And I feel like I finally am understanding this like now.
I mean, that is so important to. I mean, I don't know how many people are actually able to have that ability to do something and make a living out of what they love to do, out of their passion.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I hope one of these days I'll be able to do that. You know, and I'm definitely working towards
Yes.
it. Right.
Well, you will with your beautiful paintings. So.
Well, I know. We'll get there.
Check it out, people. His painting is amazing.
So, and I didn't pay her anything, by the way.
No, I saw it with my own two eyes.
But it's I have a really good friend of mine. She's a really, really great girl. And one time we went out and we were having a drink. This is like 2015, 16, you know, and she was, I think she was starting her master's. And I asked her, I'm like, so what is your passion, right? She's a Jewish girl. She was born in Israel and was living here for a while. And I think she's back in Tel Aviv right now. Shout out to Ronnie. And it was just such an interesting concept that it never crossed my head. And I asked her, so what is your passion? What would you love? Is there something that you could love to do? Because she's, went to college, finished up school, and she goes, yes, fashion.
Oh.
I'm like, great. I'm like, so how are you going to start? Like, what's the process? She goes, yeah, but I don't think I will ever do it. And I was like, but why not? If that's what you love to do.
Right.
And she goes, no, I think I'm going to go into selling medical stuff, And I was like, all right, why? She goes, because that's what my dad told me that I should be doing.
Right.
And I understand it from their perspective, right? I mean, that's why you see so many wealthy, Jewish people, because they are very dedicated to, they have a plan and they just go for it. They do it. And I mean, I don't know if that's just in their DNA or whatever, but that's just how they work. And in my head, I'm thinking, really? Like, you're going to do something that you don't know if it's going to make you happy or not, but it is going to be stable.
Right.
Right?
Well, I think most of society, as sad as it is, they go for the safe and they go for the stability in a lot of areas.
Yeah.
Quite frankly.
Yeah. And I was still, I don't know if I had already started painting or not. I think I was about to or something like that. And at that moment, I was just following my passion. I was in completely different, paths with her, that she wanted to do this because this is that's what the future,
right?
Yeah. She was making sure that she was going to have a future following this path. And here I am, starting to paint and that whole hippie just like, whatever, we'll go with the flow. We'll see what happens, and but it's just interesting how there are people that, go for it. And I mean, Like I wish her the best, and I hope that she achieves everything. And I know she has been achieving everything she does, but it's like, will they ever? And I'm not just talking about her, but just people that do this. Like, are they ever fully reach their happiness? Their happy place in life to be like, I am doing what I love to do.
I don't think so. I mean, I think seriously the majority of people are probably in that same scenario I was. I was playing the sales game because, you make decent money, you have freedom, you have flexibility, but it was stressful. It was a roller coaster. And it's like, it didn't really ever make me happy. So I think for the last few years, I just knew deep in, like, this does not feel good, right? And it's like, once you get to a point of like, I'm done, then you got to start making choices and decisions. But I don't think a lot of people have that freedom to actually do that. So they just stay that route because that's what they know and that brings them stability. Or they have responsibilities at home,
Yeah.
right? Family and
Yeah.
kids, wives and husbands, and they can't just go follow their passion. And that's what's so sad, because a lot of people's passions maybe in the beginning don't bring them the money that they need to create the life they desire. But then it's kind of like a catch-22 because
Absolutely.
you're like, okay, well, I'm not really fully happy inside, but I'm doing this to create a quote unquote happy life on the outside, but I'm not really happy. Like, something's missing. So how do you then take it to the next level and really follow your passion and find happiness? Because I mean, we get reminders every day that life is so short. And it's just like, is this how you really want to live your life? So even for me, it's like, no, I'm tired of it. And maybe on the outside, people are like, what are you talking about, Katie? You have a great life. You live in a nice area and you travel and you have freedom. And it's like, no, but something's missing. And so that's the whole purpose of this trip, is to really find that joy and choose happiness, right?
And most importantly, I think, is to feed the soul.
Yeah,
Right?
100%.
Because this is what it comes down to. It's not about needing a new car or buying a new
No.
house, or having the latest phone or whatever it is. Just something else that it's
Yeah.
screaming from the deep inside of me that is telling me I'm not happy.
Right.
I'm not at peace with with myself. It's something deeper that until you are experiencing it, you will see it, you will literally feel it.
Yeah.
And it's a very sad sensation.
Yeah.
It's a sad
It's
feeling,
sad.
right?
Right.
Like we were talking about that wild horse, right?
Yeah.
That it feels, like it's
You're confined.
confining to this spot. And imagine your soul that it's
Yeah. It's like your soul doesn't feel
this
free.
beautiful energy that is just like
Yeah.
inside this.
And we're not meant for our soul to be
Right.
trapped.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, it's unfortunately that, like you mentioned, there's a lot of people that maybe don't have the opportunity to do it is because they got married,
Mm-hmm.
they have kids.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the most interesting people that I have known, and it's people that have explored life, and most of them are single,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they have been able to experience life on their own. And they have been able to really
Right.
get deep within themselves and figure out what they need to figure out in their head.
Mm-hmm.
And or there's these guys too, for example, too, like the owners of like the guy that started Apple.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys that are like workaholics,
Mm-hmm.
right? But do they have a good family life? They do not.
Right.
It's very, very hard for the families because these guys are like workaholics. They
Right.
don't spend enough time with the family, and they use work to achieve what they feel they have to achieve in their life.
Right.
Right? And once again, it's like two completely different things, but it kind of goes hand to hand because these people are exploring life, experiencing life on their own, and you have these people that are being workaholics,
Right.
but also alone because the family intrudes within their
Yeah.
idea, what
Right.
their goal that they have to achieve. The family is it's kind of like on the way, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think on both ends of those spectrums, though, I think both can be lonely. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So, like, even though we're not married or have kids, like, it's free, but it's also can be sad at times. And I feel like in the past, I used to think that that would define me or make me feel like I'm good enough to have my person or have a family. And that was sad because it's not true. Like, it's almost like this mindset of like, oh, I need Prince Charming to come save me, or I need a man to feel like I'm complete. But no, enough. Like, I'm saving myself. I don't need a man to save me. It's up to me to change and to choose joy and change my mindset to actually be free. And once I start living, then that's probably when the right person will come.
Yes. The podcast that I shot yesterday. I was talking to, his name is Isaac, and we were just talking about relationship and stuff like that. And he was talking about his girlfriend and how I don't recall what he was saying, like something about like her needing him all the time or something like that. And I was like with me and Deb, it's just kind of those things that is like I don't want her to need me. And I don't ever want to be in the situation that I need her.
Right.
I want her.
Yeah.
And it's such a huge difference.
There's a difference, yeah.
One thing that I love about Deb is that she's very independent as well, right? I mean, I think she's also a Sagittarius, so it's like we're in the same page when it comes to things like that. It's like you do your thing, I do my thing. Very, very, very in sync when it comes to things like that. But when it comes down to needing or having to have that person all the time and waiting for that Prince Charming that is going to come and save you, it's like nobody's supposed to save you, right?
No, we have to save ourselves.
I mean, that's our responsibility.
Sure. That's our responsibility. And it's freeing when you kind of can accept it and be like, enough's enough. I'm going to go save my soul. Because no one else is in charge of my feelings, my emotions, my life except me, right?
Yes.
So when you get to a point of like, enough is enough, I'm not happy. What am I doing? What's the point? What is the purpose? Like, there's been some dark days where literally I was like, wow, this isn't who I am, but this is where I am right now. And I need to take action to change it because this doesn't feel good in my soul. So, I mean, it's just this whole journey of healing and learning along the way.
So when did you do your certification for yoga?
I think it was 2018 or 17 or 18. 18, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that had a big that also had like a big influence on?
I think so.
Well, a lot of things in your life. Was it? I guess my question is, was it life changing?
Well, what's interesting is I was kind of feeling very similar. Like, see, I haven't really been happy, and I was just like, oh, what am I doing? And one of the teachers was like, Katie, it's gonna change your life. It's going to be life changing. And and that's what sold me to actually start the program, because I was at a point where I'm like, well, what am I doing? Like, okay, why not? And I think it really was, because it made me closer to the yoga community and just being involved with people with similar mindsets and learning more about the practice and how it's really a practice for within, right? We all start, I think, for the physical aspects, but then it's more of the mental, right? And then once we learn more and we surround ourselves with similar mindsets, it's such an encouraging and inspiring community. Like,
it is.
It's amazing. And I mean, I practice like 5 or 6 times a week now. And I am close to, like, you see your regulars and they're encouraging and inspiring me on this adventure that's ahead. And it's amazing.
Yeah.
And even one of my Omis, she's like, Katie, I could see you teaching yoga down there, like at a resort,
Sure.
and why not?
Sure.
Right. So that's where I'm just going to like see where the energy takes me. And maybe I will, and maybe I should, because I've always thought I wanted to, but for something, it was always holding me back. Like, I think my whole insecurities of I'm not good enough, or it needs to be perfect, or I need to have the perfect playlist. And it's like, enough of that. You just have to start, right? You just
Yeah.
have to start.
Yeah.
Like with you in this
Yes.
podcast,
Yeah.
like, yeah, if you wait till everything's perfect, you're never going to start. And that's a lesson too. It's like, let go of the perfection and just start. Just move forward, you know? Take the first step. Like Steve Harvey, I think he says, fall forward, you know? Like take that step. And if you fall, you're going to fall forward.
There is I started listening to this badass book, and I let me see if I can find it. Um, I I've been wanting to listen to it for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and I just canceled my Audible. Um, my Audible. My Audible thing. Because it gets a little pricey.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like I have so many books, and I'm like, I haven't even gotten to them.
Yeah,
and
and
I'm
you
just
want to
like,
make sure you're
yeah, I want
actually
to.
listening and
Yes,
stuff.
yes. So anyway, so I just canceled that for a while, and it's on my wish list, on my Audible wish list. And I just happened to open Spotify the other day, and the book comes out.
It's on there, right? Yeah.
It's by Rick Rubin.
What is
and
it?
it's called The Creative Act, A Way of Being.
Oh,
Girl,
the creative act.
A Way of
Okay.
Being.
You'll have to send me
I
that.
will send you the link.
Yeah.
It's literally like I'm listening to it, and so far 90% of the stuff that he's saying is like exactly what is going through my head.
Wow.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's just like, wow. Holy
Right.
shit. You know, just allow yourself to be.
Right.
Just if you want to be creative, be creative.
Yeah. Be
Creative because, you know, like he mentions this here, it's like it's our right to be creative.
right. And I think we need to tap more into that, you know? Get those creative juices flowing. I mean, even when I'm gone, I'm going to start documenting my adventures and maybe do a little YouTube thing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I've never done that, but I'm just going to start and I'm going to try
Yeah.
and just go. Be creative. Put yourself out there.
Yeah.
You know, see what happens.
Yeah. And it's really, really I'm like kind of like, but then I'm always thinking, oh, I should have listened to it before. It's like, no, you're listening to it right now.
When you need to
when
be
you
listening
need to be
it.
listening to.
You know what they say? The teacher comes when,
When you are ready.
When you're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he mentioned, I'm at this part right now where he talks about everything, it's a sign.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember always right after, especially right after you get out of that yoga training,
Mm-hmm.
you are very receptive.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything, you're very aware of everything that's going on around you, the people that you're meeting, the music that you're listening to, the stuff that you're watching on TV. Everything you're very like aware and seeing if there is something in there. And I remember that I was exactly like that with people that I meet. And now I am still, but I mean, once life gets in the way,
Yeah.
you know, you're not as
Aware.
You're not as aware because your mind is just like, oh, how do I deal with this issue? How do I need to figure this out? Right? So it's like pretty much everyone out there, right, is dealing with that situation. But when you are in that receptive stage of your life, literally a song,
Yeah.
a part of a book that you read,
Yeah.
and a movie that you watched,
It all aligns.
it all aligns, right? And he's exactly just going about that right now. He's exactly talking about it, how everything, we should always, as artists, we should always be aware of things around us because everything is giving you insight about what you need to be doing next. And I'm just kind of like,
it's amazing because when I get in my spiritual point and I journal, that's exactly what comes to me. It's like, pay attention. And that's the biggest thing because there's signs everywhere, but it's our job to listen. And even that journal says, quiet your mind and your soul will speak. And it's so true because once you quiet your mind, because there's too much clutter everywhere. You clear the clutter, you clear the mind, then you start seeing like the beauty that this life has to offer. And once you start following the alignment, that's when you're flowing, you're in the flow. And I do feel like that's where I'm at right now. And it's so beautiful and it's so amazing. But it's our job to listen and pay attention. And like I said earlier, why make this path harder for me? No, like stay on the path, like pay attention to the signs and follow the signs. And like I take that inspired action when you get the nudge. That's God's way of speaking to you and telling you go this way. And when you pay attention, life can be incredibly beautiful.
Mm.
So I don't know, it's just kind of like what you're saying, but it's magical when you pay attention. And a lot of times, and I'm learning, sometimes you have to stop doing and just start being and allowing the magic to take place.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Right now, we were talking earlier, and you mentioned about that you just open up your Instagram account.
Yeah. Literally after how many years? I'm late to the game.
But you're not, once again, right? You're not not late. I think I'm sure you have heard about it, out there a lot, that social media will fucking consume that shit out of you.
Right.
It will literally devour you.
Yeah.
And if anything, I would love for to keep that in mind, to be very, very aware of that.
Absolutely.
I'm doing my best. I'm being literally just absorbed by this shit, know? Yeah. And especially now with what I'm doing, right?
Right.
It's almost impossible to, before with my art, obviously, I was going on it often, but now with the podcast that I have to be on it a little bit more constantly, it really absorbs you. But just be mindful of it. Just very, very, very mindful. If there's any best advice that I can ever give you, is just give yourself a time of the day where you can just check it out, and after that, just because you are this time of your life where, like you mentioned, you're starting to be aware of things, paying attention. And unfortunately, when you are on this fucking thing every single day, you lose it.
Right. Well, one of my favorite things traveling out of country is to not get cellular service and literally just connect when there's Wi-Fi. So when I'm out, I'm present, right? So it's like finding that balance and be where you're at, right? Be present and take it all in. Like, I'm not here to just take a bunch of photos. Like, I literally want to engulf myself in it.
Yes.
But you're right. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Cause it's all new and exciting for me, but but I'm doing it partly to update people because
I hear you.
Can't be texting all these people, oh, tell me what's up. And it's like, okay, I'm going to try doing this whole Instagram thing a little bit and a little bit of teasers here and there.
Yeah.
But really, I don't want to feel obligated every second to post something. It's no, enjoy the day, take some photos, maybe at the end of the day, have a glass of wine and okay, here's a few little shots.
Yes.
And be done with it, right?
Yeah, because it's and that's that's unfortunately it seems like that is that's being done on purpose, to actually keep us away from that
being here,
being present, being mindful, being aware, paying attention, and I feel like it is most definitely done on purpose, to affect that, that connection that we have with everything else around us.
Yeah. Or getting the perfect shot, when or making it seem like you're having a blast and it's can you just be why do you have to get the perfect shot or post it later? Come on.
Yeah. But so definitely it's just to be mindful of that stuff. But it's and that's one of the things that I would love to do. I would love not to do as much is just put a timer on this thing on.
Yeah.
Like now they sell you the application. They sell you an application that blocks it. So now you have to pay it's $10 a month where you pay for an application that it gives you a certain time and then it closes, it doesn't allow you to go in it. And it's just kind of oh my God, they're even making money out of it because people don't have the will.
Oh my God, just delete it from your phone.
Yeah. Can you? Yeah. How crazy is that, right?
Yeah.
We're at that point where we don't even have the strong will that we can
Oh,
do it on our
yeah.
own. That now we need an application that's going to do it for us.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is crazy. No, there's been times I don't look at it for days because it's just like, no, I don't. And especially if I'm not in a good mind space, I don't personally like looking at it because it doesn't make me feel good. So it's like having that willpower and knowing what's best for me at the time to like shut it down or shut it off, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm really, really excited for you, girl.
Thank
I'm really,
you.
really excited for you. What's gonna happen? And
Yeah.
so you are thinking what 6 months?
That's
Is
kind of the
that kind of like the
plan. I
plan?
mean, that's
I
that.
mean,
I really,
if you say longer, you say longer. But the
yeah,
plan is
I
6
want
months.
to
I would
challenge
say.
myself to stay 6 months. I mean, who knows? Life happens, right? But I really do want to challenge myself to be out there and engulf myself in as much as the culture as I can for 6 months and really find myself, like who I am, what I want to be doing moving forward, and follow that passion, right? To live my life with joy and find that happiness and choose happiness.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. How does your mom and your sister feels about that? Like, what are their thoughts? What are they gonna come and visit you? Like, what's the thing?
oh, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure they'd want to, but I don't really have a set plan. No, I mean, my family's been very supportive, which I feel very grateful for. And my dad, surprisingly, he was very supportive. I thought he'd be like, Kate, why would you leave a good job? Like, you never want to leave a job before you have a job. But he was like, Kate, you worked your whole life. Like, let's, enjoy it. And one advice he told me was like, don't be cheap. Don't be cheap. Like, if you want to do something, do it. Like, just spend the money, enjoy, have fun, and like, just embrace it all. So, yeah, I was very surprised that out of everyone, he was supportive the way he is.
Okay,
But
that's
yeah,
great.
most people have been supportive. I know there's a lot of some jealousy and
Of course,
envy,
I
but
mean, that's part of that.
you know.
That's part of being human, right?
But for the most part, I feel like people have been very encouraging and supportive, and they can't even believe I'm doing it. And it's so weird because I'm like, well, why not? But it is true. It is kind of a big deal that I'm literally like just leaving without a plan. Like, really, that's it. And I like figured things out, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm making it happen. It's pretty cool. Cause I mean, you're not 23 anymore where you don't have that much going on. Like I had to figure things out. And I was kind of thinking the other day, like, wow, I really am like proud of myself. I wasn't giving myself any credit. And literally the other day, it just kind of like hit me where, wow, I've accomplished so much to get to this point. And I think maybe that's when I started to feel really free because I've accomplished it, but then I let go and I surrendered. And now I'm really like enjoying life.
Yeah, I think that most definitely that was a big part of you feeling that way because we are very hard on each other when it comes down to looking back at our accomplishments in life.
Right.
And if we don't do that, if we don't allow ourselves to look back and see how much we have accomplished or what we have accomplished,
Right.
we're not always gonna feel like we're not enough.
Right.
Like we just haven't done anything in life.
Yeah.
And it's not being egotistical or feeling whatever, but we need to do that once in a while. We need to look back and be like, well, I've done this. I have been through this. I have been through that. I have been able to achieve this and achieve that. I deserve to do this.
Right.
Right? It
exactly.
gives, because that like you mentioned, it just it gives you that freedom. It liberates you from feeling a certain way. And now you are, all right,
Yeah.
I am worthy of this.
100%. It comes down to worth, I believe.
Yeah. You feel like you are worthy of this and there's nobody that's going to stop me right now.
No.
And you are exactly at that pivotal point in your life where you are making this fucking badass decision and going on this trip and I use, like I say, like I admire that and I cannot wait to hear more from you and see where this is gonna take you.
Right.
So and you also mentioned something that you wanted to kind of like start a podcast too, right? You
Possibly,
with your
with
friend,
one of my girlfriends down in New York City. Yeah.
That's gonna be cool
to
too.
share stories. She has crazy stories from the city, and just me with my adventures
Yeah.
in Argentina and wherever I end up. So it could be kind of a cool little recap with, it might be a little more juicy than maybe some of the YouTube stuff or Instagram stuff. We'll see. Who knows? One thing at a time.
Right. Yeah, that's gonna be great. And like I said, I'm really excited to be part of this, you know. And thank
Yeah.
you for allowing me to do this.
Oh my God. Well, thank you.
And I will be will definitely be in touch and
Yeah,
make
absolutely.
sure where you are at and how much you're enjoying your life. And if I see you here in 6 months, if not maybe longer, you know. But if I see you here in 6 months, I will, you know, love to do a recap on your life
Absolutely.
adventures and see what happened.
Absolutely. I would love that.
All right, Katie. Thank you very much for visiting.
Thank you, Leo.
And you leave when?
A week from today. So next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
I have a buffer in Georgia for a week to see girlfriends. But then
Okay.
after that, it's
I see-
Colombia for a week and then
Colombia?
Argentina.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Cool. All right.
see where the energy takes me,
Let's
right?
go. All right, sweetie. Thank you very much.
Thank you.